And looks like we are live. Um, Hi everyone, my name is Alex and I'm starting this new channel to document my build of SecKit SK Tank 3D printer. Please bear with me as live streaming is brand new to me. My presentations still are lacking some of the 2022 YouTube finesse and I may run into technical difficulties from time to time. Feel free to reach out to me via DM and let me know if there's anything I can do to improve my channel. Um, First, a little bit about me. I'm a new dad. I have a baby boy that is 4 months old. Thus, all the live streaming will revolve around his schedule. I guess let's just jump in. Why did I pick SK Tank over all the other competitors like Voron 2.4 and Rat Rig? Well, I really did a lot of research and I just couldn't spend so much money on a 3D printer that uses 3D parts as part of the frame. So that was my main decision-making area for that 3D printer. So I ended up ordering the SK Tank in the beginning of 2022, and it was delivered in March. And I am now slowly starting to put the pieces together. Doing it very methodically. I really want very specific components in my 3D printer. So I have a whole box here. I'm gonna go over with you guys. And but first we can probably start by just reviewing the SK Tanks website and what I picked when I ordered mine. Okay, let's just jump right in. Let's see. I'm just navigating to the website. Where is it? Okay, there you go. Okay, let me just switch you guys over. Boom. Okay, so this is the website for SecKit SK Tank. This is your order page. I went with the full kit, as you can see right here, because it does come with some good things like the the base, the aluminum build board, or whatever it's called. Uh, okay, so let's just get through it. So I picked the SK Full Tank Kit, SK Tank Full Kit. For linear motion, I ended up going with China linear rails and blocks. I could not afford going with Highwind. If you have the extra money, I can of course recommend going with the brand name of the linear rails. Um, you won't need to do as much cleaning and adjusting as you have to do with the Chinese ones. Um, my thought on it was even if I get one bed rail, I already have some um, in my basement because they're so useful and inexpensive. And I can always order more from AliExpress and have it here in 2 to 3 weeks. So I can put something together that works. X-axis, I picked aluminum parts, mainly because I did not want to seal the carbon fiber. Uh, I'm not trying to print extremely fast, right? I'm not trying to set any speed records. I just wanted a Core XY um, 3D printer that is rigid and works, and aluminum will do that for me. Another thing is the carbon fiber one uses the smaller linear rail, MG N9, right, to reduce the weight. I'm okay with MG N12. Um, I am self-sourcing the board, so I didn't pick any of this. Um, I ended up getting a Big Tree Tech Octopus Pro, mainly for its ability to use the RTD sensors for checking the temperature of the heating element for the hot end. Um, yeah, Raspberry Pi. No, I already had one. Likely got one before they went out of stock everywhere. Extruder also self-sourced. We can talk about that later. Build plate. I picked a smooth and textured double-sided magnetic PEI because I need something to print on. Country, USA. So I just selected the right, it's a plug. It's just a cable. You probably have hundreds of these. Well, not hundreds, dozens of these at your house already. Then the shipment, and that's it. So if you can see, it's 947 and 228 for your total. Let's see. So that's pretty much it on the build. And we can jump forwards and backwards on this. Let me just move this. Let's start with what I'm using for the board. And I am using a big Trade Tech. There. Get everything pretty well. It's a big Tree Tech Octopus Pro with TMC 2209 drivers. I bought these directly from Big Tree Tech from their website, mainly because it was the quickest way to get it. That wasn't through AliExpress. So these are the drivers I received. Nothing really special, other than they're fantastic. Just your standard driver. Heat sinks. A little cable. So I got 2 boxes from them for that. This is your octopus. Ooh, there we go. Octopus Pro. It's a pretty big board. But yeah, it's got everything you could possibly need for a 3D printer, and very inexpensive for what you get, right? If you really think about what you're getting out of this board, it's ridiculous. Not much to say about it, right? A few cool things about it is you can drive at a higher voltage than standard, which I won't because I just get the drivers that are available. The high-end drivers, high voltage drivers are not really available still. They're all sold out. Like I said before, you can, with these toggle switches, you can select pretty much all of the RTD sensors. This makes it so you can go up to 400 or 500 degrees Celsius on your hot end. One cool thing is your fans right here can run at different voltages, right? From 5, 12 to 24 volts. It's selectable right here, which is also neat because you can do that with LEDs, right? Whatever you put in G-code will get activated. It's got the Wi-Fi module. Yeah, it's fantastic. Show you the back. And this is the back side of it. We'll just put everything back together. and the whole setup and everything I'll go through live on the channel. The reason I'm doing live is I do not feel like editing anything because it takes a lot of time. So I think if I do these videos live, they're just out there and people can watch them or not watch them. Whatever you want. Okay. Well, this one's pretty quick. I'm using BL Touch. Purchased from BL Touch, I believe. Instead of using sensor that comes with SK Tank. I personally like BL Touches because once it's set, you can put anything you want on the build plate, and this will sense it. It doesn't look for metal; it just touches it. One of the things I want to do with SK Tank is print on a PI sheet that's on glass, because glass is so flat. And when you flip it the other way, you would see a PI sheet on one side of the glass and nothing on the other. If you flip it where the PI faces the aluminum, and you have just glass on top, you can print nylon polycarbonate on the glass itself, which makes it easy. Alrighty, next thing. I guess we'll just go through everything that I purchased that is out of ordinary for this thing. Yep. This thing. Just need a table box. There you are. Okay, this is everything. Okay, fantastic. Okay, so for a hot end, I'm gonna be using Mosquito Magnum. I already ate the lollipops. Yeah, this is your Mosquito Magnum made in the USA. Very nicely engineered, very solid, and it looks beautiful, doesn't it? I would say so. So, I got this. It comes with a kit, some Allen wrenches, and then mounting kit, the screws and the looks like washers and zip ties. With it, of course, to get all the accessories. So I have the 24-volt fan kit. Nothing special here, but I just thought it would make sense to buy everything from them because they know how it works. This is RTD PT 1000 temperature probe, temperature detector. Right, so it's good for 400 or 500 degrees Celsius. And then this is an industrial heater, 50 watts, 24 volts. It only has the silicone on this much length after the heating cartridge. But the wire itself is, I think it's PTFE, so it's very very resistant to bending and moving, which is what you want in your heating element cable because you don't want that thing shorting. I got this 1.5 nanometer Newton meter torque wrench because I don't want to mess up this beauty. Then I got this Bondtech nozzle, the CHT one, and this is their new technology nozzle. that's got the three little holes cut out. So what it basically does is, as the filament enters it, there's a between those three holes, it's a very sharp area, and it will actually split your filament into three cavities. And because of that, there's more surface area to heat the filament. So you can push a lot more filament through this little nozzle. You can heat a lot more filament. So having this nozzle and the Mosquito Magnum, that should be able to run a lot of filament really quickly. And then for the extruder, I'm using this Bondtech LGX. We'll see. I have not used Bondtech before. I was the E3D kind of person. I'm not a fan of the printed plastic, um, mainly because I do want to print in the heated chamber in the future, and I think this is going to be an issue with warping and so on. So I will most likely at some point will need to upgrade to an all metal one. And my hope is, well, it kind of sucks, is I want the Chinese people on AliExpress. That sounded pretty weird. The Asians in China to copy this design and make it out of aluminum. So I can just buy the shell and put all the insides of this into it, and then have myself an extruder that can run in a heated chamber. So that's that. Next thing is, this is from Adafruit. It is ADXL345, and this is accelerometer. This is to tune the 3D printer once it's up and running, so that you don't get any of that waviness due to resonance in the frame. Let's see. What else? What else? This is what I'm going to be using for to cool the drivers on Octopus Pro board. And then this is what I'm going to use for fans. It's Noctua, just their standard fan. I think it's at 12 volts. So I'm going to have to set it to 12 volts. I was mainly looking for something quiet, so I got two of them. Next. Raspberry Pi on the dinner rail. Nothing really special. I kind of like this case, even though it's really hard to get the SD card out. But I like the window because you can see everything. And I put inside of it, as you can see, a little terminal block to connect all the wires. So I will need to, there's a hole here, but I may possibly drill a hole to get the wires out if needed. Next upgrade. Allen Bradley dual pole breaker, 15 amps. Instead of doing a fuse, decided to do this. A lot more substantial, shuts off both the neutral and the hot. So safe. Safe. This is PID for either temperature or cooling. It's made by Auber. It's SYL 1612B is the model. It runs at 24 volts, as it's scribbled over here, so it's 24 volts. So this will power either the heating or cooling cycle inside the chamber. And this is just a little 3D printed enclosure that I made for it to mount it on a gear rail on the backside. Pulls it nice and tight. These are the plastic rails, plastic clips that hold the clip onto the gear rail. I just got them because I didn't feel like designing and printing derail clips. These are very strong and you can screw them on. It's a standard bolt pattern. I bought 10 of them for $5, 10 sets, so 20 total pieces. Makes your development and modeling quick because you don't basically just have a flange instead of designing and trying to print all those parts. Next, this is a little cool baby. I'm going to look at it really quick. This is a smoke detector relay. So it's a smoke detector that when it senses smoke, it sets an alarm, but it also activates a relay. So this is going to be tied into, I think I'm going to mount it just on top of the printer, right? Print like just 3D printed cover for it, so you don't see any terminals. And if there's a fire inside the printer, right, if that comes up and ignites, it will shut off the printer because the main power going to the printer will be controlled via solid state relay. So it's a safety thing. Hopefully it works well. Hopefully it doesn't just create more bugs. What do we got? What do we got? We'll do this quick. To be safe with a nice piece of equipment like this, I have just a Chinese emo button for emergency shutoff. And because I'm guessing my kid, when he grows up, will want to mess around with my 3D printer, I'm going to add this on-off switch with a key. Pretty neat. Next. This is also from Adafruit. This is just a fan for the Raspberry Pi. So I might add a fan to that case to vent it. We know those things run hot. Hot, hot, hot. Next. I found one. Oh, there we go. Okay. These are the ones recommended for the Voron, the rubber feet. I'm thinking of building a plywood base with cutouts to drop the printer on, and the base, these will mount to that base to have the printer, give print a little bit of movement to dissipate the movement. So work for Voron. I think it can work for SK Tank too. I mean, nothing special, just rubber feet. I think they're designed for air compressors. No, I'm not going to take this out of the package, but this is just 80/20 hinges and handles, just so that I have something for the doors, for the front doors of the 3D printer when I build the enclosure. 1, 2, 3. This is just standard Chinese, made in China terminal blocks. Nothing special, but I got 3 of them. They're the nice G-rail mount, not the one piece that can just break off. I'm gonna use these for all 3, so I'm gonna have one for hot, neutral, ground. And then from there they'll split wherever they gotta go. This is a solid state relay Omron, good for 10 amps. This is going to power the heater for the bed. Looks pretty good quality. Should do the job. Next, SSR, SSR, SSR. Okay, I have a whole bunch of solid state relays. I got two Cridom ones. Uh-oh, the kid's waking up. Hope it doesn't hit the camera. I'm still trying to figure out exactly where these are going to go. And this is another solid state relay that I just had lying around. There's a mount, derail mount for the solid state relay. I'm not sure if I'll use these because there's very limited cooling with those that those provide. I'm most likely gonna mount the solid state relays on something like this to dissipate the heat. Definitely gonna use this because I don't feel like replacing them. Allen Bradley contactors. There's 24 volt DC. I'll show you. I already started laying out the electric schematic of how I want to do things. So everything's gonna run off of one of these. And when it loses power, right? Let's say that smoke detector turns on, shutting off the power. It will release the contactor and you lose power to the entire thing, to the entire 3D printer. Okay. I'm not gonna show it on the little camera, should I? Whoop. This is just a desktop heater that I got for free. It's a Uline gift. It's a comfort zone heater. 200 watts, pretty tiny. This can heat a chamber fairly quick, and that's what's going to be connected to the solid state relay in PID. Let's see. Okay, so to run out of stuff. This is another solid state relay. This is what's going to be powering the hot end because I'm not running it straight off the board. Something I missed. They recommend using boron nitride paste. Got it from them. And this is the mount I 3D modeled and printed for the Octopus Pro. Alright, what else do we have? Alright, so these are the 3D printed parts. That is all we have. These are just miscellaneous parts. Terminal blocks that I'm going to use. I just had a variety of them, so I just have to pick and choose what I want. I have a whole bunch of. Can you see me? Maybe not. Let me change it. And here I have just a whole bunch of derail parts, connectors, and just random stuff. They're gonna go into the printer, into making of the printer. Alright, let me quickly just put this away, and then I'll show you how far I made it before. I started this channel. So unfortunately, I already put together the frame. So I can show you guys and gals where I'm at, and everything going forward will be recorded live for this video stream, live stream. Just gotta put all of this away. Gotta do your cleanup, right? I'm gonna edit this out. No, I won't. That's the whole purpose, right? That's the whole point. Let's make sure no one sees my butt crack. Alright, put this right here. Put this right here. Well, let me show you something I was working on. Okay. So this is the fan I'm gonna use. Well, two fans for the part cooling. They're gonna mount in this position to the left and to the right of the mosquito. Needed to come up with some kind of mounting solution, and this is what I've been working on. Just doing little revisions for the last couple of days. So it sits in there pretty good right now, right? It just pops in, and then you have your hole for the mount. It will mount to the base plate that holds the extruder, that clamps the extruder. Not extruder, yeah, it is extruder. With these two holes right here, there's a little play, so you can adjust the height. And I put reliefs in there so that the head goes all the way in to not impede with the motor mount, with a fan motor mount. These are Winson, and they're dual ball bearing fans because, you know, these run a lot. Don't want them to break. So it's still work in progress. The actual nozzle is going to slide in into it. There's a little pocket in there to hold it. So I want to make it as changeable, as adjustable as possible, and make it easier to print with two different parts, right? So you don't have to, if your nozzle breaks or you want to change your nozzle, you don't have to reprint the whole thing. You just reprint the nozzle part. So it's still work in progress. And now we can probably take the box of parts and go through that. Boom, boom. Okay. The box of parts. Oh, a few little things that I got for this build that I recommend everyone gets. That almost made noise. High quality hex keys by Vera. You know, if you're gonna be working with something for a while, get yourself some good tools. Of Works. Is there a brand? No, there's a model. WX240L powered screwdriver. You can adjust the torque here. Works great. It speeds things up, so you don't have to waste as much time going like this. And a torque screwdriver. Fairly inexpensive from Amazon. Goes from 10 to 70 inch pounds. Too bad it doesn't have Newton meters, but this will help with anything that needs to be torqued properly. That's basically, probably other than a couple of wrenches, is really all you need to build a thing. All right, move this and we'll go through the box. Oh, it's pretty heavy. Okay, so the frame came in a separate box. The frame has been put together, but these parts are, even though I moved them around, so they're not going to be packaged the same way as they were when they were shipped, but it's pretty close. One thing to notice, you see this right here? Up. Make sure it's up when you open it. I was so excited, didn't even look for that. I opened the bottom, had to close it, flip it upside down. Very well packaged, especially for a fairly small operation that he's running. I think it's just one person. Jesus, my feet are cold. All right, things we have. We'll switch to the tripod mount. Okay. Nuts and bolts. All the fasteners you need. They are all nicely labeled with the size. So I am 30 millimeters, 40 millimeters long. And then you have the parts like this, unlabeled, but you can't screw that up. GT210. That's the size of a belt, therefore. You get 2 fans, even though you don't order the hot end or the extruder. Still throws in the fans, which is nice. I like fans. In here, these are the Z-axis brackets to hold the bed to the linear rail blocks. NEMA 17 motor mounts with stepper motors. Here we have, this is the fuse holder that it comes with. I think it lights up or something. Yeah, I think there's a bulb in there. But you basically, let me show you how it works. So, just pull it, and then you have your fuse. It's a derail mountable. And then click, and it's back in. Alright. So that's that. You have your thermal fuses, 10 amp, now 130 degrees Celsius. That's my kid sleeping. Solid state relay. Maybe I can set this up nicely like this. Fantastic. Oh yeah. So it's not shaking. There we go. So it's similar to the one I bought from Auber, and I I trust those guys, so this is probably a pretty good brand for a solid state relay. MGR. It is a, not even sure, it's 20 amps, rated for 20 amps. It's rated for 20 amps. And the fuse is rated for, oh, you got unscrewed to get it out. Looks like 6 amps. So your fuse will blow way before you have any issues with that solid state relay. Unless solid state relay just locks in on position. This is the touch sensor. Looks like W-04343 looks like it's made in China. This is the power cable, also made in China. Goes to US plug. These are the stepper wires. Some shielding. I don't know if that's enough. We'll see. These are the optical sensors for end stops. Looks like for all three, X, Y, and Z. Says LERDGE.com. That's mounted a little crooked. See the light underneath? This one's nice and straight. This one's nice and straight. Hopefully this doesn't cause any issues. Might have to resolder these joints. Power connection. Nicely pre-wired. I really appreciate that. And there's a fuse in there too. And I'm not going to open it to see what it's rated for. So there's 2 fuses. Not too shabby. More cables. These are X gantry brackets. Aluminum, right? Because I didn't go for the carbon fiber version. Before I forget, it did come with a Meanwell 24-volt power supply. But I'm not going to show it to you because I already put it away because it's one of the things I'm upgrading. I'm actually going to use this before I forget. It's a Sola 10 amp, 24 volt. A little bit more of a trusted though, even though there's nothing wrong with Meanwell. I think Meanwell came a long way. Their quality is fantastic. This is idler pulley bracket. Another idler pulley bracket. As you can see, they're opened up, so they're a little bit larger than 90 degrees. And you bring it in when you assemble it. Another bracket. another bracket, another bracket, another bracket, two more brackets. These are the belt tensioners for the stepper motors. They mount directly to the stepper motors. These were so nicely packed. That's not gonna be packed like that again. Alrighty, next we'll have two stepper motors. They are LDO motors, NEMA 17. Even though I didn't get the extruder, I still get the stepper motor. Not really sure about this brand, but here we are. These are the Z-axis motors with the gearbox. Really hard to turn. The cable's already pre-attached with a very disgusting glue job. All right, almost there somewhere. You have two brackets for the X gantry. Some Teflon tape, which is another thing I am changing. So instead of using just standard screws or bolts with a thread on it, and then putting Teflon tape on it, and then putting the idler pulley on it, what I'm doing is I ordered the full set of correct length ones that are shoulder bolts, that are stainless, so that I don't have to use this. I can potentially see this being an issue long term. Don't want to take it apart to fix anything. It says these are gate belts, gates. Do I know if they're gates belts? Don't know. There's no writing on the belt itself. I ordered some gates belts from Triangle Labs off of Valley. So we'll compare that when it comes in. I think we're 2 weeks out on that. Look like GT2. Don't have smooth idler pulleys, and then the ribbed ones. And I checked these; they're definitely GT2. So that's definitely quality, because some, from my understanding, some Chinese kits, especially for warrants, actually come with pulleys that are not GT2, which is an issue. That can mess with your cables, your belts, and can also cause vibrations, right? Because the belt isn't designed to go on those pulleys. Okay. Pretty heavy. Okay, next. Next, I'll show you the assembled frame. Wow, I dropped 0 frames. That's pretty good quality. Okay, what can I say? It's a freaking good. It's a great frame. It is fantastic. Um, all the bolts here, if you can see. Let's change that. All the bolts here, they're loose. You see how loose they are? See, they're all loose. And the frame, it rocks, but damn, like it's already pretty solid. So I believe when they're all tightened, it's gonna be a tank. I think that's why it's called the tank. Um, things I changed on this. I'll show you really quick. First thing that I did is I upgraded the hardware. So the bolts are from McMaster, just probably slightly higher grade. Um, and then instead of using two nuts and counter tightening them, I ended up getting also from McMaster. It's cheap, right? It's M4 or M5, M4. Um, Nylon locking um, nuts. So, so. This is how far I am with this build right now. That's basically it. Um, I got the frame this far. I'm waiting on a couple of parts. The shoulder bolts, they're coming in hopefully this week. And then I'm gonna set up all the pulleys, install them in their brackets. Um, I gotta bring this to my work, so you're not gonna really see that. Maybe I'll do like a phone short video. I have a huge granite table there, and I want to tighten this frame on that granite table to make sure it is 100% square. Um, and then we'll start building this thing up. There's actually a couple of things I already. One thing I didn't show you, the linear rails. Skipped them. They're just standard linear rails. There's nothing special about them. And you'll see them in the future videos. Um, that is it. That is all I have for today. Thank you very much for watching. Give me a like. Is that what people say? Yeah. And leave comments on anything I can improve. Maybe the camera's shaking. Made one of you guys puke or gals. Hopefully not. And we'll see you next time.